The world is alive with insects. With maybe as many as 30 million kinds, competition for food and space is intense. To stay ahead of their competitors, some species make long migrations, some go underground, while others occur in overwhelming numbers. On first inspection, it's hard to see anything special about the shield bug, but it belongs to a group which has developed some remarkable adaptations in its struggle to stay alive. And its ability to smell foul is just one secret of success. Shield bugs are not easy to see, but their smell is unmistakable. It's a bit like burning tar, and they taste disgusting. Pick one up by mistake, and you'll soon discover why their nickname is stink bug. Although they're generally overlooked, they are quite common, particularly in the southern counties. On this heath, there are birch bugs in the birch trees, green shield bugs in the oaks, and in the gorse bushes, gorse bugs. There are no points for guessing where the hawthorn shield bug lives. This species is quite common in cities where its food plant is widely grown as an ornamental tree. Larger numbers and a greater variety of shield bugs occur on the continent where it's warmer and drier. Some of these foreign species are occasionally transported into the British Isles in boxes of fruit and vegetables. They sometimes establish themselves in the wild during the summer months, but they rarely survive our cold, wet winters. The European turtle shield bug only thrives in the south of Britain where the winters are mild. It's easy to see how it got its name. Likewise, the bishop's mitre. Shield bugs are often mistaken for beetles, but they differ in several ways. Their shield is the most obvious difference. This leathery outgrowth from the thorax protects them from injury and deters predators as well as earning them their name. They belong to the order Hemiptera, which means half-wing. That's because only half of each forewing is transparent, like a fly's, while the other half is toughened for added protection. A beetle's entire front wing is modified into a horny wing case. In fact, its whole body is toughened, powerful jaws included. Whereas beetles munch solid food, shield bugs feed on liquids. Butterflies and moths also suck up fluids, but they don't compete with shield bugs because they have different mouth parts. A butterfly's coiled tongue is really a flexible tube designed for probing deep into flowers for nectar. This purple emperor butterfly is sipping dew from the surface of a leaf. A shield bug's mouth parts are formed into a slender, piercing proboscis, which it drives into plants. By tapping plant veins, it can draw off an endless supply of food which is unavailable to other insects. But until this source of food is abundant in early spring, the shield bugs must stay under cover. The white dead nettle is one of our earliest flowering plants, and several shield bugs rely on it for food in spring. In April, there are mini disturbances at ground level as emerging bugs scramble for the light. Their first task is to find food. Nectar is a good source of sugar, and at this time of year, there is an abundance of flowers. But the flowers are also frequented by ants. By banding together, these small but fearsome hunters can easily overcome an insect 15 times their own size, even one that's heavily armored. But being smelly does sometimes have advantages. When an ant attacks, the bug brings its secret weapon to bear. Vibrating its body, it emits corrosive fluids which dissolve its enemies. The ant is literally melting away. The battle above is watched with interest from the ground. Chemical warfare isn't always effective. Sometimes diving for cover can be more worthwhile. The stripes warn predators that it's distasteful, but this message has to be learnt the hard way. Left with a nasty taste in its mouth, the toad refuses a second helping. Pungent odors seem to have little effect on birds, perhaps because they have a poorly developed sense of taste and smell. Even the undergrowth is a perilous place, full of traps and pitfalls. Caught in a rather sticky situation and trapped by all 6 legs, the future doesn't look bright for this bug. But it has another defensive tactic to fall back on. Most large insects can escape from a spider's web if they have enough time and if they can avoid attracting the attention of the venomous owner. One whiff of the bug repels the spider, buying the insect precious minutes. The shield bug now spits on its feet, using saliva to dissolve the sticky threads. And once it's escaped, it also uses this method to remove every last trace of silk from its feet. As the temperature rises in summer, the mature bugs disperse in search of a mate. They're reluctant to take to the air because they're relatively slow and clumsy flyers. Here they're filmed in ultra-slow motion. Although their rear wings are fine and membranous, they're short, and their armored forewings are heavy and difficult to control. In comparison, beetles like this ladybird are much better flyers. Their hard wing cases, the modified forewings, act as aerofoils, providing lift and stability, while their extremely long hind wings provide power. In the battle for survival, beetles seem here to have an advantage. The sexes come together in April. There is no real courtship behavior. Males identify a mate by scent and grab the first receptive female they meet. It's May, and the countryside is bursting with new life. Most females lay eggs a few days after mating. They're laid in batches of between 14 and 24, depending on the species. Each egg is attached to the food plant with small sticky droplets. The female moves off to lay a second batch of eggs some distance from the first. This reduces competition for food between the two broods when they hatch. But by abandoning them, she leaves her eggs open to predation. This second bug should pose no threat, but the newcomer reacts in a most unexpected manner. Piercing the eggs with her proboscis, she sucks one after another completely dry. This behavior, which has never been filmed before, probably provides this female with a rich source of protein for her own developing eggs, as well as reducing competition on the food source for her own offspring. The needle-like proboscis is clearly visible, probing for the last drop of fluid inside the eggshell. Bug eggs attract other insects too. Ants and beetles are partial to them, and flies and wasps parasitize them. In order to protect her eggs, a female of the species called the parent bug actually guards them by fending off potential predators. She sits on them like a broody hen until they hatch. Each egg looks like a miniature barrel. Small pores round the edge of the lid give entry to sperm prior to laying, but now serve to allow the developing embryo to breathe. The new generation starts hatching in June. The two small red patches are its eyes. The black triangle is a special spike called an egg burster, which the young bugs, called nymphs, use to tear and push off the egg cap. Newly hatched shield bugs are soft and often brightly coloured. As their outer skin hardens, they take on darker, less obvious hues. The nymphs bear little resemblance to their parents, but they can smell foul from an early age. This is a young common green shield bug. And these are newly emerged nymphs of the black and red striped species. It's not long before they too take on a darker tone. Young bugs change gradually, getting a little more like the adult at each molt. The small nymph has shed its skin once, while the larger one is ready to molt for a third time. After the third molt, small wing buds appear. They're clearly visible as black patches on the back of this striking nymph. By mid-July, the young have grown into adults. They have now molted 5 times and have fully developed wings. Shield bugs rarely cause any serious damage by sucking sap from crops. This species feeds on ripening corn, but its effects are negligible. Green shield bugs occasionally invade bean and pea crops, but they're easily controlled with insecticide sprays. Some shield bugs even help to control pests. Forest bugs hunt lethargic, soft-bodied larvae. They may seem slow and ineffective, but shield bugs can be around in such large numbers that they have a marked effect on pests. Piercing the caterpillar with its proboscis, the bug slowly sucks its victim dry. The bug's abdomen works as a pump, creating suction which helps to draw the fluids from its luckless victim. A young green shield bug is in no danger. It's too well armored and foul-smelling for a predatory species to tackle. We generally overlook shield bugs, or at best dismiss them as beetles. But at times they can make their presence felt. Pick a bug by mistake, and the fruits of your labor will positively pong. This does nothing to enhance the flavor of a blackberry and apple pie. Cryptic colors also serve shield bugs well. There's a bug in each of the following pictures. Autumn marks the end of a generation of shield bugs. By the time the leaves fall from the trees, all of last year's adults will have died. The glut of berries, hips and haws provides the new season's bugs with a feast before winter. Each individual must accumulate a good supply of fat if it's to survive the long, cold months ahead. In September, the green shield bug begins to change into more seasonal colors in order to blend in with its autumn surroundings. As the days get shorter and the nights cooler, the last bugs retreat for the winter. Forest bugs find hiding places among dead leaves where they'll shelter for the next 7 months. Green shield bugs find sanctuary in dark crevices under the bark of trees. Several species crawl into the middle of grass tussocks or burrow into the soil. This pied shield bug looks dead, but in fact it's in a state of torpor, a sort of hibernation saving energy through the winter. Shield bugs retire for the whole winter, except for the odd individual which makes a special appearance for Christmas. Gathered in with decorative branches, a sleeping juniper bug soon wakes in the warm atmosphere and emerges to join in the festivities. The number and variety of insects on Earth is overwhelming. Many species, unable to compete, are facing extinction. But it looks as if the shield bugs are here to stay. Their shield protects them from injury and predators. They avoid competing with their closest rivals by having completely different mouthparts and feeding techniques. Some use camouflage to conceal their whereabouts, while others flaunt the fact that they're noxious. Added together, these features give shield bugs every chance in a highly competitive world. When it comes to survival, stink bugs stand out on their own.
In Iceland, steam is a normal presence in the landscape, among snow-capped mountains of lava and deserts of sulphurous ash. Iceland lies between America and Europe, not that far from the silent frozen mass of Greenland. Much of it is harsh and unwelcoming. But in the northeast, there's a remarkable oasis, a lake called Mývatn. Here, there is a break in the lava deserts, where a shallow basin is watered by hot springs. Mývatn in English means the Lake of Flies. Pools of boiling mud indicate that volcanic activity is still very much present in this area. The lake was formed over 2,000 years ago when a chain of volcanoes closed off a basin 37 square kilometers in extent. Hot springs have supplied the lake with minerals and, combined with the sunlight of Iceland's long summer days, produced a wealth of plant and animal life. The lake also bears the scars of greater upheavals in the past. Pseudo-craters are not really craters at all, but the eroded remnants of giant solidified bubbles in the lava that formed the lake. These latest lava beds have been exposed for 2,000 years. But the vegetation they support is still sparse and specialized, a few mosses and some stunted birch trees clinging to crevices in the rock. But the uniqueness of the lake arises from the water itself, in the shape of the black flies that give Mývatn its name. In countless millions they hatch every summer, covering the rocks beside the lake and swarming over the grassy banks like steam, an amazing swirling mist of life. The air is filled with the sound of their wings, and as a source of food, they attract all kinds of hunters. The resident Icelandic spiders capture more than they can possibly eat. Each fly lives for only a few days, but new waves of adults are constantly hatching to replace the dead, so that the numbers stay astronomical for most of the summer. For scientists and people who come to film this great natural spectacle, the flies present a test of devotion to duty. The flies are the key to the whole complex magic of Mývatn. These swarms provide food for the large numbers of waterfowl which assemble here to breed. Here, a huge mass of nourishing gnats has been gathered by the breeze into a convenient soup. A Slavonian grebe picks daintily at the flies, building up its strength for the breeding season. But a Barrow's goldeneye, one of Iceland's resident ducks, takes them in by the billful. Fishermen too join in the harvest of summer, catching the fat char, a delicious trout-like fish for which the lake is famous. The Arctic terns, taking their share of the fishermen's catch, have travelled further than any of the birds that come to the lake. They spend the northern winter as far away as the coasts of South America and South Africa, even the edge of the Antarctic ice. But for them, the journey north pays dividends in security and food. The food chain of the lake starts with the fertile mud and sunlight, producing huge quantities of plant life. It continues through the flies and fish to the birds. Through an Arctic tern, the effects of Mývatn's fertility may travel far into the southern hemisphere. Large flocks of ducks come to the lake, mainly from Europe. The Barrow's goldeneyes are native Icelandic ducks, and many of them spend the winter on the lake, round the hot and cold springs, where the water never freezes. In spring, they are joined by others, which have spent the winter at the coast. This is when courtship begins. In their distinctive breeding plumage, each male must attract and win a female as quickly as possible, for although the days are already long, the summer is short. Young males are repulsed by the adult drakes. Another resident Icelandic duck is the harlequin, aptly named for its colourful breeding dress. The female is rather drab, but the courting drake follows her every move. When it comes to finding a nest site, the harlequin duck has an advantage over other species which come here, because it feeds in the rushing streams which flow into the lake and can nest along their banks. Its extraordinary skill in white water frees the harlequin from competing with the other species of ducks which live on calmer water. When a nest site is found, the birds advertise their arrival, calling and head bobbing, and receive a warning not to trespass from a neighbouring pair. Once the boundaries have been established, the pair can take their first meal in their new home, diving to collect fly larvae from the stream bed. An Arctic species which comes to breed at Mývatn is the long-tailed duck, also known in America by the name of Old Squaw. The male must seek out his mate among the hordes of other ducks on the lake. Only about 400 among the 30,000 visitors are likely to be of his own species. A female responds to his call, and soon another pair will be established for the season. A passing golden-eye drake is driven off. Barrow's golden-eye has preferential treatment when it comes to finding a nest site. In fact, the Icelanders call it the house duck, because it nests so readily in their houses and outbuildings. Soon after the young hatch, it's time for them to leave their unusual nest site. This duck leads the way and calls for her ducklings to follow. The brood complete, the female Barrow's golden-eye leads her ducklings safely to the lake. But there are still dangers in store for both the young and their parents on the Lake of Flies. The gyrfalcon, once the most highly prized of all hunting birds among the nobility of Europe, breeds here in the rock outcrops around the lake. It builds its eyrie high in the lava cliffs. The young falcons are provided with ducks from among the visiting waterfowl on the lake. These birds are at the very top of the lake's food chain. Gyrfalcons are strictly protected. Only about 5 pairs breed here each year, and the loss of a few ducks is a small price to pay for their continued survival. Perhaps because of this steady pressure from gyrfalcons and other birds of prey, Barrow's golden-eye nest naturally in holes, usually in lava. Farmers have exploited this habit by encouraging the ducks to nest in outbuildings where their eggs are easily available. The association is of long standing, and because of the methods used, it actually benefited the ducks in the past. The mother is gently removed and released, in the sure knowledge that she will soon come back. Meanwhile, the farmer examines the nest. He always leaves 4 eggs in the nest to hatch. Anything over 4 is his share. Although it's going the way of most traditions now, egg collecting from the islands like Sluteness is a time-honoured practice. In the past, as many as 50,000 eggs, mostly scorp, were taken every year, and as many again left to hatch. Now the number of eggs laid on the lake is lower, principally because the islands are no longer specially managed to encourage the birds, while introduced mink have disrupted the nesting colonies, making egg collecting less economical. Only a few people nowadays trouble to look for eggs. The children, too, have been taught to always leave 4 eggs, ensuring that the duck continues to brood and hatch her clutch, so that she will come back next year, ensuring the continuity of the species. "10,000 eggs are still collected annually, but they are now taken only for home consumption. The maximum number of eggs in an undisturbed nest may be up to a dozen, of which all but 1 or 2 may hatch. But sometimes 2 females lay in one nest, and large broods can result. This mother has 13 ducklings, probably not all her own. She takes them for their first diving lesson. Goldeneyes feed on fly larvae and the flies themselves, and snails and fish eggs from the lake bottom, so diving is essential behavior for the young. The duckling's downy coat aids buoyancy, and submerging is no easy matter. But one by one, the ducklings begin to get the knack of submerging underwater. The human fishermen on the lake and in the nearby rivers are not direct rivals of the ducks, but to meet the growing demand for trout, they are using long nylon nets, and the result is a very real threat to diving ducks like goldeneyes. It's estimated that 1,000 diving ducks are killed during the 3.5 months of an Icelandic summer. Most of the casualties occur away from shore. The lake is hardly more than 4 meters deep anywhere, but for a netted duck, that is deep enough, and most are not as lucky as this one. The danger of fish netting is only the first of the new and growing human pressures on the birds that come to the Lake of Flies. They already have enough natural pressures to contend with, perhaps the greatest of which is the lake's unpredictable weather. Snowstorms can occur even at the height of the breeding season in July. Thousands of young birds may then die, some directly from cold, but others because the flies, their essential food supply, stop hatching for a time. But such sudden onslaughts of bitter weather do not have a lasting effect on the duck population. These are natural hazards, and the birds are well able to cope with them. A pair of scaup might bring up healthy youngsters even through a snowstorm. Their natural insulation is effective protection. Mergansers, which spend the winter at sea, are equally safe. Most birds, whatever their size, are well equipped to adjust to temperature changes, surviving to breed another year. The Icelandic golden plover has probably journeyed from the Middle East, one of the hottest parts of the world, to breed here. scoters, like other ducks which come to the lake from the open sea, are relatively safe while they're here. But many of them die in the winter from pollution of the high seas, along with many other sea and shore birds. The shores of Mývatn have been farmed for hundreds of years, chiefly for sheep, with fish and eggs as a sideline, without endangering the birds. Many Icelandic farms are built beside geysers and warm springs, which supply the farmer with a constant supply of hot water. Lately, however, the hot mineral springs at Mývatn have become the indirect cause of a new threat to the peace of the lake. Dredgers scoop out mud from the lake bottom, part of a profitable industry, for this, owing to the volcanic springs, is no ordinary mud. It's diatomaceous earth, made of the skeletons of millions of tiny plants called diatoms, which grow in the lake precisely because it's fed by hot mineral springs. The spring water is rich in silicon, which the diatoms need. The noise of the machinery and the disturbance of the dredging operations have driven the birds away. What used to be a quiet corner, the silence broken only by the calls of birds, is now a diatomite mining settlement. Mývatn's mud is among the purest in the world. It's much in demand by the chemical industry for use in the very finest filters, despite its natural appearance. Ironically, the volcanoes which gave rise to this unique lake, simmering away far underground, are contributing to the new threat to its wildlife, because it's the steam they generate which is used to power the mud processing plant. The peace of this corner of the lake is gone forever, but hopefully the disturbance will not be allowed to spread. But Iceland needs the industry. The factory employs a large number of people, and its high-quality product is in demand all over the world. The people need somewhere to live, and the old settlements, scattered farms and tiny villages just can't accommodate them. The older houses and farms on the lake shores look almost as if they ought to be there. The modern township is brash and conspicuous, but it's fairly compact, taking up only a small part of the lake shore. If it and the industry which brought it into being can be contained, there may still be hope for the lake, which is worth taking care of, not only for the birds, but for people as well. For there's no other place quite like Mývatn, the Lake of Flies.